Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I am GlamPreezy and today I'm going to be showing you how I slay my brows. This is one of the most highly requested videos that I've ever had. So if you want to learn how to slay your brows like this, please keep watching. I'm young for tonight, it's all under my control. So before we get started, I just want to show you a couple of products that you're going to need to slay your eyebrows. Now, on a daily basis, I do use quite a few products to slay my brows. If I'm in a rush, I tend to use powder to do my eyebrows, just powder and a brush. That's what I usually use if I'm rushing. If I have time though, I will use multiple products. So let me show you what you're gonna need. First off, you're gonna need an eyebrow pencil. And I change eyebrow pencils all the time. Last year I was kind of married to one brow pencil, but now I've been changing my hair color a lot. I've been using this type of eyebrow pencil. One of them is from Kiss and one of them is from NYX. Has a brush on the end, and on the other end is the actual product. One of them is brown and the other one is literally the darkest black brown that you can get. When I'm blonde, I tend to use the brown one, but today I'm going to be using this one that is almost black. Here are the two colors that I use. The bottom one is the brown, and that's the color that I use when I'm blonde. But when my hair is jet black, I like a strong brow, so I'm going to use this color today. These pencils do come in like 6 different colors, so don't feel pressed to use the color that I'm using. Use whatever color that you are comfortable with. So the next thing that you're going to need is a brow powder. Now, depending on the day, okay, I could use one of 2 powders or I could literally use both. Now I know y'all probably saying, girl, you already doing too much, but this is my routine. So let me show you. It's really simple. A dark brown powder such as this one. It's not black, but it looks black on camera. And a lighter brown powder. And I use both of these colors to kind of ombre my brows. These powders are by Bobbi Brown, and I will link the names below in the description box. The other things that you're going to need are brushes. This is a MAC slanted eyebrow brush. I will find the number and I will link it down below. The other one is a synthetic flat brush from Wet n Wild, and I don't think that it has a number. You're also going to need an eyebrow gel. You could also use a clear mascara. This is the one I'm going to be using today. Next, you're going to need a concealer. This is Beautiful Bronze by LA Girl. This is not the only way to slay your brows. This is not the fastest way to slay your brows, but I'm going to show you in detail how I like to slay my brows when I'm going out. The plus about this is that you get dimension in your eyebrow and your eyebrow doesn't just look flat. Another plus about this eyebrow technique is that it stays on like crazy. Because of the layering of products, it really makes your eyebrows waterproof. And if you need to sleep in your brows, which I don't recommend, but if you dating a new guy and you don't want him to see you like this, these brows are sleep proof, honey. They ain't going nowhere, trust me. I am going to zoom this camera in and let's get started slaying these brows. Okay, so these are my eyebrows with nothing on them. I do have hair, as you can see, but they are not fleeky, child. Ain't nothing on fleek about these brows. So let's go ahead and fill these bad boys in. The first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to use a primer on my brows. If you don't have a primer, it's fine. Just use a translucent powder over your brow area, your entire brow area first. But I am going to be using the Becca Evermatte Poreless Primer. I'm literally using a very tiny amount on my brow. So no matter what I'm using to put my eyebrows on, powder, pencil, dip brow, It don't matter. How I draw it on and fill it in is always the same. Now, I do add some products to make the brow look a little bit more textured or have a little bit more dimension, but keep in mind, my technique is always the same. So if you don't want to use all these products, just do what I'm doing with whatever your favorite brow product is. And what I'm going to do is go ahead and use the darker brown pencil, and I'm going to start underneath in the front, underneath, and I'm going to create a line here. I like to follow, for the most part, my own brow shape, but if you want to create a different shape with your brows, feel free to do that. I just think this is the easiest thing to do. Now my eyebrows are too short, so I'm going to extend this line out just a bit. I like my brow to start at about here, and I like my brow to end at about here. So even though my line might be a little long, especially here, I do this so that I can taper off the color. I ombre the front of my brows. So making the line long in the beginning is key to this technique. Now that you have this line underneath, you're gonna draw another line on top. If you want to change the shape of your eyebrow, which we all do, then don't do the exact shape of your brows. Follow the line that you would like your brows to end up. Now remember that the distance between this bottom line and the top line is going to determine how thick your brows are. So for example, if I make a line all the way up here, the brows are going to be hella thick. Same thing, if I make a line right here, my brows are going to be a little bit thinner. The arch is critical. So remember that when you are coming to your arch, think about whether you want your arch to be rounded, angled, and sharp, flat. This is where you would then determine that. Now we're going to fill this in. And remember that if it's not a perfect shape at this point, it doesn't matter because you can change it when we clean it up later. So here we have the beginning to the brow. So I am back. Now they're not exact, clearly. They look crazy in the front, but this is the key to the whole ombre eyebrow thing. I'm just going to lightly brush through this pencil just to make sure it's all nice and smooth. So the next step is the powder. So I'm using the Mahogany eyeshadow from Bobbi Brown. Start from the front going back. Now remember, this is the lighter powder and this is the portion of the eyebrow where we're going to ombre it and soften the look. And you do not have to make your eyebrows this thick. You do whatever shape you are comfortable with. And I'm not going too far back with this color. I'm only gonna go the first like half of the brow. So now we're looking real crazy. The next step is to use your darker powder. And I'm going to start on the bottom line and then pull it up. And I'm overlapping the two colors. And I know a lot of people will say, oh, hell no. Like, I could never do this every day. But again, like I said in the beginning, no matter what you use, you can still use that same first technique. Bottom, top, fill it in, brush it out, and go. And eventually I will do like a quick brow tutorial, but this is what I do when I'm coming for edges, you know, when I'm trying to slay the eyebrows. And I've got the spoolie again, and I'm just going to brush lightly, very, very lightly. Brushing is definitely the key to getting it nice and smooth looking. Now, I'm going to brush the front of my brows this way, very lightly. So, next step is going to be concealer, and you can use any brush that's really small and precise that's going to give you a sharp edge. That much. And I'm just going to tap my brush on it, and I'm going to clean this up with that concealer. I feel like every single thing I do in this eyebrow routine helps the outcome. sometimes I don't know how to explain why I'm doing something, but trust me, it's doing something. I'm just kind of blending this out. You can use your finger to do that part if you want. And there are slight variances in everybody's bone structure in their eyes, especially your brow bone and the way your brows grow. So don't be hard on yourself, you know, it's just eyebrows. It's not the end of the world if you don't get them exactly alike. I've got the bottoms cleaned up and blended out here. We still have a unibrow, which is a good thing. But I almost never clean up the top of my eyebrows. I think it just adds to the look of them. When you clean up that top line, I feel like it takes away from the texture, but that's my personal preference. However, sometimes, rarely, I will clean them up at the top. And when I do not use the same concealer as I do on the bottom so that the top of my eyebrows don't have that light line. I hate when girls have that line. It is, ugh. It bothers me so highly. So if you're going to do that, make sure that you use your foundation color or a darker concealer. And for me, the darker concealer that I usually use would be the Makeup Revolution in C15 or C16 is the one that I would usually use on the top. So now I'm going to take my brow gel and I am going to start from the bottom and just brush upward. I do have hairs there, so I like to push them up and over. So up, and then as I go, I'm turning my hand so that they're smooth over. But everything is being pulled up from the bottom line, basically. Okay, I'm back. Let's complete this eyebrow tutorial. My brow gel is dry. I'm going to go back into Beautiful Bronze here. I'm going to put a little bit underneath my brow and on top of my forehead here. And the reason why I'm not going straight through is because I want to taper off the concealer. If I put the concealer directly in the middle here, it would make the brow line in the front too abrupt. But it is a process, so I've got my little Real Techniques blender here, and I'm going to just dab this and slowly go upward into this brow area. I'm going to grab this concealer here and then pull it downward. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to take the blender and I'm going to lightly dab the front of the brow so that it's not so abrupt. For anybody wondering, this process takes me about 8 minutes. So that may be too long for some people, and if it is, don't do it. You know, don't do all of it. But this is how I do it, and I hope that it helps you. I'm going to go off camera really quick and put my concealer and foundation on, girl, and I'll be right back to complete this. Okay, guys, so I am back. This is the final look. This is what they look like. So this is pretty much how I do my brows when I'm going out. I don't really do them like this every day because I just literally do not have enough time to do that routine every day, which I don't expect anybody to have that much time to do eyebrows every day. However, the things that I want you to take away from this video are the forming of the eyebrow. Remember, bottom line, top line, fill, and then brush them and ombre them. That's literally the most important part that I want you to take away from this video. The other part that kind of totally ups the game of your brows is adding that concealer to clean up your eyebrows underneath. Without that technique, they wouldn't look as sharp and defined, and it just wouldn't be what it is without cleaning them up with the concealer. concealer. So you can use whatever products you want to use, whatever your favorite brow powder, pencil, pomade, brow gel, whatever you want. Be open to do whatever you want to do in that area, but just remember those techniques that I showed you today. And like I said, I'll do a quick brow tutorial eventually, but this is the long awaited eyebrow tutorial that I have been asked for like the last year. So I want to apologize that it took me so long to get this video up. This is it, guys, and I hope that you enjoyed this video and that you learned something from it, honey. And I hope that you slay your brows using my technique. And if you do, please tag me on Instagram at GlamPreezy. Thank you guys so much for listening to me ramble on about my makeup addiction, and I hope that you learned lots and lots and lots from this video. Thank you so much, guys. Mwah.